Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Chris Kalabukas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups, the future. Not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe. Please drop a note at Apple Podcasts. I greatly appreciate it. Now, many of you out there probably have side hustles. In fact, I don't know a lot of people who don't have side hustles. They have their regular day job, and they have the thing that they do on the side, which either makes money or maybe doesn't make money, or maybe they'd like it to make money, who knows. But they have their regular job that they do day in, day out, and that's the thing that brings in most of the money in the family. And some of you may have two-person breadwinners, especially in places like here where you really do need two people to be able to have a full-time income in order to survive, really. But most of you probably have a side hustle. You probably, not only are you a product manager by day, but you also, sell barbecue sauces by night, or you do some kind of leather work or something. I don't know. But more than likely, you have more than one job. You have your main gig that brings in the money, and you have the labor of love, the thing that you love to do in your spare time. Now, wouldn't it be great if those were the same thing, or there was an overlap between it? I mean, think about it as a Venn diagram where you have the job that makes you money, and you have the stuff you love to do. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a role in the overlap space? See, I think that's what's happening with the Great Resignation, is that a lot of people are looking at the huge amount of time that they're spending in their day job doing things that maybe pay the bills, but it's not necessarily something they like to do. And then they look at their side hustle and go, wow, this is what I'd really love to do. I'd love to do this almost all the time. I'd love to spend 8 hours a day doing my side hustle. And maybe someday, if this business ever takes off, I'll be able to spend more time on my side hustle, or maybe I have to wait until I retire. Who knows? But isn't it terrible that we live in that kind of situation right now, where it seems to me that there's a disconnect between the value that you can create on your side hustle and the value that you're being paid through your side hustle. It's like all sorts, and because typically peaceful side hustles are more artistic and creative than their day job. If you have a day job as a product manager, you probably spend day after day politicking if you're in any kind of large organization. But you probably go home and maybe you make music. Maybe you DJ, maybe you do something creative. In fact, most of the time you probably do something creative. But for some reason, the creative stuff seems less valuable than the other stuff. Wouldn't it be great if you could overlap those two things? Maybe we need to find a way. We need to figure out a way to make those things converge. We need to figure out a way to properly value people's creative contributions. Because if you think about it, if you think about music for a second, musicians are paid almost nothing. But music is so powerful. I mean, how many times have you listened to something and realized how much the music has moved you? But that musician gets a pittance from creating that music. Our world is a little topsy-turvy. We're in a world now where people get paid to do things that on the outside seem to have no value. Paid a lot to navigate through organizations or move data from one place to another. But when they do something creative, something that lifts the spirit, something that makes people happy, actually generates an emotion, we pay them nothing. So that's a startup idea for you. There's a startup idea for you. How can we properly monetize creative work? How can we properly pay musicians and artists and writers for the stuff that they do based on the emotion that people feel when they experience the work. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.